You are listening to This is Oklahoma, hosted by Mike Hearn, telling stories of Oklahomans and those that have made it their home.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of This is Oklahoma. Mike Hearn here, host, back with another episode. Excited to share this episode with you today, but before we do, huge shout out to our sponsors. The Oklahoma Hall of Fame has been sharing Oklahoma's story through its people since 1927. For more information on the Oklahoma Hall of Fame, go to www.oklahomahof.com. And for daily updates, go to oklahomahof on Instagram and give them a follow. Our other sponsor today is Chickasaw Nation. Now, the Chickasaw Nation have sponsored pretty much everything in Oklahoma. They're a huge supporter of Oklahoma. And it's an honor to have their name and their brand supporting this podcast. A huge shout out to Governor Anatobi for supporting this podcast. It really means a lot. This episode is brought to you by the Doghouse OKC. Recently, I have been in need of some doggy daycare for my two pups, and the Doghouse have come in clutch. The team over there are incredible. They've taken care of my two golden doodles, and so it's been an honor to partner with them on the podcast and share the love. Adding to that is the Doghouse, and so if you're in need of doggy daycare in the day or boarding overnight, they do grooming and other cool things too, but I've had a fantastic experience, and it's an honor and a privilege to share this with you too. So go to thedogHouseOKC.com and follow them on Instagram at thedogHouseOKC, and hopefully our pups will run into each other.
Here we are. We're here.
We are here. We're in. Dude, this is a sick house.
Oh, thanks.
And the little bit that I've seen, this is sick.
Oh, yeah.
I repainted my cabinets black in my kitchen this year, and they look amazing. They're hard to maintain,
Right.
but they look great.
Right.
And I think it's just more people should paint with this whole room black.
Yeah. Color washing has been super popular.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's been popular for a long time, but in the last probably 2 years, it's really come on strong. So, this entire room, obviously all the paneling and stuff, the ceiling, everything is all done in the same color, which we did that in the laundry. The laundry's all the same color. The mudroom's all one color, or pantry's all one color. So we like it. We're kind of quirky anyways.
Yeah. Well, sick. Well, why not roll in? People watching and listening, gives me great pleasure to introduce return guest to the podcast, Mr. JD Terry, who is a home builder as well as a car enthusiast and a few other things, art collector. There's some cool pieces in the house. Lone Oak Homes. Been building for quite a while.
Yeah. It's been a while now. A lot longer than the last time we met.
But I think the last time I'll link the podcast below. The last time we did a podcast, it was predominantly about your car obsession, collection, passion. You know, we're from the same religion as far as loving cars, and probably it's a disease to us. Right?
Absolutely. I was born into it, so it's not my fault.
Yeah, well, yeah, blame it on dad. Mine comes from watching Top Gear every Sunday as a kid. So
love it.
Blame it on Jeremy Clarkson.
Love it.
And still blame it on him because he's still going. But for people listening that didn't watch the first one or listen to the first one, give us a little bit of recap about your kind of Oklahoma story, where your roots come from, and then we'll dive into how you get into the profession of home building. Yeah.
So grew up here, born and raised, went to all Edmond schools, and moved out of town for a little bit, Texas, for a small stint to do some oil and gas work. Went to college at UCO. So just kind of everything I've ever done has been based out of this area. Obviously grew up building cars, messing with that. And then I think that kind of transitions into building houses. It's kind of a similar process, kind of watching something come together, being able to watch it evolve. It's been a lot of fun. So figured out I didn't love oil and gas, traveling all over the country all the time. And, this thing kind of honestly fell into my lap. A friend of mine called me and, said, "Hey, I think you'd be good at building houses." And I basically told him that I knew nothing about it. And, I was interested, but didn't have any background. And lo and behold, about a month later, he called me and said, "I just ate lunch with a guy that owns a big home building company. He's looking for a superintendent that's never built a house. And I think you'd be a good fit." Called him, and the rest is history. I quit the oil field and took a monster pay cut to go to work as a superintendent, and made it work.
How old are you when you took that superintendent's job?
Oh gosh, I was probably 32.
Oh, wow.
32, 33.
Wife and kids at that point?
Oh yeah.
So big risk.
Oh, I cut my income by 1/5. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was a huge risk. Fortunately, man, I was extremely fortunate. My wife was very supportive. She just wanted me to be home, so she didn't care.
Yeah.
Um, and so it worked out really well. Luckily, we had some money saved and some few rental properties and stuff that kind of helped subsidize income and off to the races. But yeah, it's funny because people now, they see like nice house, new truck, whatever, but they don't understand that like we sold our nice house and bought a really cheap house. And I sold my brand new truck and I drove a 1985 Suburban for the first like 2 years I owned my business because I could pay cash for it.
Yeah.
And so we just kind of like got down to the nitty gritty and ground it out ourselves. So
Yeah, you're right. No one sees that.
yeah,
right?
no. Yeah.
Everyone sees now the success, but no one sees.
Yeah.
But no one also would know that. Thanks for the podcast, I get to do this. But not many people would know the whole story, right? Of you being in, yeah, you're in a job you don't like, but you're making money. The oil field is lucrative, But again, the home life, you're not seeing your wife and the kids
Yeah.
and all the things, and you take the opportunity, which at the time is a risk, but.
Right. Well, and I watch so many people in the oil field, get divorced and move all over the country and like have no relationship with their kids and do all these things. And although they made great money, I mean, that was about it. The rest of their life, and not to say that's true for everybody in that industry. It's not. It just happened to be for the people that I was around, and I just didn't want that. And so we definitely did not get into this business thinking that it would do as well as it has, but we are super blessed that it has, and we're riding this roller coaster.
Yeah.
So.
Growing up, you mentioned, you've grown up with dad building cars and always tinkering and working on things. What was the choice to go to UCO? And then as a young age coming out of high school, was university kind of the only option, or did you have options outside,
Man, I am not a school person.
Yeah.
I graduated high school with a 1.8 GPA. I just didn't do well and had no interest in learning what they had to offer. I went to UCO because my dad was like, "You're going to college. You have to go to college." And I had a good enough ACT score that I could get into UCO, even though I had a really low GPA.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went because he told me to, which led to me going for 2 years and dropping out, moving to Vegas, living in Vegas for about a year, coming back, doing every job you can imagine, selling cars, selling paper supplies, working as a bartender, doing anything and everything I could for about 4 years, and then going back to college because my dad was like, "I really want to see you fulfill this college deal." So I did. And then, that was a segue into oil and gas. I didn't use my degree, but I was hired based on my degree, even though that's not the position I took. So
Yeah.
I won't say that college was completely, a waste of time. I think everything happens for a reason. There's a reason I went to work in the oil field. There's a reason, there's a bigger plan for all of this. But if I could go back and tell 18-year-old me, I would tell 18-year-old me not to go to college because it was a huge waste.
Yeah.
I watch all these young people now that are going to college and have no idea what they want to do. And that was basically me. I went because I had no idea what else to do. But I can tell you, if it were me today, I would go into one of the trades.
Yeah.
Without question. I'd go and be a plumber, electrician, or HVAC. Period. Like those guys are making so much money. And the problem is for lack of a better way to say it, young people don't want to do it because it's not sexy. It's not, they're not, a shoe collector, or they don't own a skincare line or whatever all these kids want to do now that they see on social media. So like they're completely overlooking these areas that they can make huge money. And I've got like one of the guys that works with us is an electrician. He's young. He's like 23. Mm-hmm. He was one of the youngest people in the state to get his journeymans, and then one of the youngest people in the state to get his contractors because he did Votech. Mm-hmm. And dude's killing it. Has like 5 employees, has like 4 trucks, is doing big houses, big projects. And he's 23 years old, but he saw the vision. And like guys his age,
they're
getting their accounting degrees or their business degrees or their whatever degrees, and then they're going to live with their parents.
Coming out with $400,000 of debt or whatever it is.
Yeah.
$200,000 of debt, whatever school is, depending on which school you go to.
Yeah. It's wild.
It's mad. Yeah. So 2 years at UCO to sort of appease your dad, and then Vegas. How does that come about? And
so random. So I had a friend that had moved to Vegas, and I had known Edmond only my whole life. You know what I'm saying? I grew up here. I went to college here. I still live with my dad whenever I, I'd gone to college. Like that's all I knew. And man, he went out there and was doing his thing. And I went out and visited, and I was like, this is what it's about.
Yeah.
So, you know, when you're 21, that is what it's about. And so we went out there and did that. It didn't last long. I kind of like the oil field. I watched all the guys that had like lived in Vegas for years and years and years, and they were all burnt out and like 45-year-old bartenders with, you know, 2 baby mamas and all that. And I was like, oh, I don't want any part of that. So I kind of jumped out of there and came back here.
Yeah. What was your degree when you came back to school?
Safety.
Oh,
So going in, it was just general business, and then quit that. And it's funny because I have a couple of friends that were brothers, and if you saw them, you would not think that either one of them went to college. And they were like, man, really harped on me as well to go back to college. And I was like, man, I hate school. And they're like, get a safety degree. Like, you can go really far with it. It's not extremely hard. Like, it's kind of a, you know, a nice segue. So that's what I did, and I have it.
UCO. UCO is a good spot. I got a lot of good friends who graduated from UCO.
Yeah. Yeah. It's always funny to me just growing up here, because like it was just where a lot of people that I went to school with went, because it was easy. But it was always funny, the people that came here from like other states. I was like, you chose here?
Edmond.
Yeah.
UCO.
Yeah. But now looking back and like going and living other places, I think that's a huge thing too, is like, you got to get out.
Yeah.
It's like I got out, and then I'm like, realized how good it is, and now I'll never move again.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, a lot of that's common, right? People who do leave, whether it's for college or go to work somewhere, wherever it is, they always generally end up coming back because they realize how good it is here. And they
Yeah.
miss it here. Pace
sure.
of life, whatever it is. And yeah, we can deal with Edmond traffic, but for the most part, it's pretty good.
yeah, I know. Let's just keep moving further east. We just keep moving further east away from that traffic.
I keep seeing Don't Edmond by Jones. Have you seen this?
I have not,
People
but that's
on
amazing.
Instagram or on Facebook, you know, I'll post a couple of houses from out here, and you know, it's all the stuff that you're building and beautiful homes and all the things. And the comments are usually from Jones residents or people at Arcadia residents or whatever, saying "Don't Edmond my Jones."
Oh, that's hilarious.
Great.
Well,
Need
it's
to
so
put that on
funny.
a sign and sell that. Somewhere.
Dude, that's perfect,
Yeah.
because this is a Jones address
Yeah.
with an Edmond, like Edmond schools, you know, so it has the Edmond appeal. But, you know, we're out here, 6 miles east of I-35, and I love it out here.
So
It's
easy to get to.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Of course, what we build is almost all out here, so I just kind of run up and down like Anderson and Post, and so it's easy
Yeah,
for
it's
us.
well, and I think years and years ago it was like, oh my gosh, Arcadia is so far away, right? Or Jones is so far away. It's really not, and it's right on the highway. It takes you less time to get to the highway than it would if you're in somewhere in Edmond.
Oh,
You know,
absolutely.
and you can easily get to downtown or go, you know, wherever you need to go. It's right on the tip. It's perfect.
Yeah.
You know, and like I said, the progression out here and the land, the topography out here is better than it is if you go west.
Yeah, the hills and
You
the
know,
trees.
the hills and trees and everything. Driving out here over the lake,
Yeah.
it's beautiful. So growing up then, but before you do get to that, you know, in your 30s to take the superintendent job, tell me a little bit about your car journey, growing up with dad, you're building, what is the passion? What is the first car? What's the magazine, you know, that the car is on the wall, like the posters? Where does that come from?
Man, it's kind of a crazy deal. So I grew up in the garage. Like, we didn't have a shop because we didn't have the money for a shop, but like we had a 2 or 3 car garage, and like the whole garage was one car scattered, right? So you'd have like one parked in the middle, and then you'd have a million pieces laying around. So I remember, like, when I was really young, my mom hated it because she couldn't even park her car in a 3-car garage because we had always a car blown apart. So I tell people all the time, like, you know, you played football, you played baseball, you watched baseball, watched football, whatever. And like, I didn't do any of that. Like, my dad would get home from work, eat dinner, go out in the garage, be out in the garage for, you know, till midnight. And then come back in and go to bed. And then weekends, you know, mowed or did whatever maintenance needed to be done. And then it was cars. So that's it. I mean, that's my whole life, was like doing that. I mean, we didn't go to vacations when I was a kid if there wasn't a car show involved.
Yeah.
It's like, I remember when we went to SeaWorld one time in San Antonio because there was a car show in San Antonio. But like, if that wasn't there, we didn't go.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a blessing and a curse. It's cool that I have that passion and like grew up doing it. But at the same time, I really don't know a lot about other things. People will be talking about football, basketball, or baseball, basketball. Yeah, whatever. And I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
You want to talk about small block Chevys? Like, I know about that. So, but no, that's it. To pinpoint one moment is hard because, I mean, from as long as I can remember, we were doing this. This is what. So
Your brothers and sisters as well?
one sister, but she's 10 years older.
Okay.
And so she obviously doesn't have the car bug just a totally different
Yeah.
kind of
What
upbringing.
was Dad's day-to-day job?
He worked at Ogini.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
Cool.
he did a commercial account manager for
Mhm.
them.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Where does his passion for vehicles and cars and small block Chevys come from?
him and his brother. So his brother was 5 years older than him.
Okay.
And he, I can't remember if he finished high school or I don't think he finished high school and went to work really young in a body shop. And he had like a 49 or 50 Ford in high school that was like super low with Lakes pipes and like the whole nine. And then my dad, when he was like 13, one of their friends gave him a 36 Ford pickup.
Oh, wow.
And so that would have been like the early 60s. So I mean, it was a 30-year-old car.
Yeah.
And he like fixed it up. He like in the beginning, he kind of got it running and like lowered a little bit and just like drove it. And then they blew it apart and painted it like British Racing green.
Sick.
And did like a small block in it. And then he rolled it. And then when he rolled it, they fixed it and painted it black and put a Corvette motor in it. And so he like just kind of, they didn't have much money. And so it was like, you had to kind of build what you drove. They weren't going to give him money for a car, and he was super young. So
Were they into the street racing side, or more just like build car shows, has power, does burnouts, but we won't race?
So of course, my dad's not going to tell me he used to race a lot. He's like, oh, my buddies. I'm like, yeah. But they used to go, so he grew up in Bartlesville.
Okay.
And there's this area in Bartlesville, it's called the Phillips Research Center.
Mhm.
And it's still there. And there's like a mile of flat blacktop on each corner of it. And so growing up in Bartlesville, there was a lot of money because Phillips was headquartered there. And so the president of Phillips' son, and then I think a local doctor's son, both had Corvettes. Like one had a 61 fuel injected black red interior Corvette. Because I know this because we're building one right now. My dad and I, a 61 Corvette, and like it's
Bring it back
somewhat to emulate that car with some tweaks. But he's talked about that car for as long as I can remember.
Yeah.
And then his buddy had a like almost brand new mid-year Corvette, and they would go out there and race. So he was like in that some. But as he got older, he never got into racing, like never drag racing or roundy round or any of that. Like mostly all just car stuff.
Yeah. When was your first? I mean, I assume when you turn 16, you have your car or you have a truck. But when was your first your project, your toy?
My first car, my first truck was a '88 Chevy pickup, and this was in 2000. So it was older. And we lowered it and did wheels and a roll pan and painted it and did a bunch of that stuff. So that was the first kind of project like that. And then the Honda world was huge back then.
Oh, the import Honda.
Yeah.
Civics.
So I had a couple of like wild
VTECs.
Civics that we built that were like fully shaved and like shaved engine compartments and, LS motors and like accurate LS motors and like the whole nine, like shaved taillights and LEDs in the trunk. And I feel so bad now because I look back on so many things that my dad spent so much time with me working on, and I'd have it for like 3 months and be like, I want this, and like, I want a Fox Body Mustang, and like sell it. And I'm sure he's just like, how many nights, do we spend on this thing for you to have it? So I've gotten better now, but I used to be really bad about getting something and then having it for like a very short period of time and selling it.
You said that when we did the last podcast, that's exactly what you said to me. We went out for a quick ride around Edmond it was tiny little bucket thing.
Oh, that little bare metal roadster.
Yes,
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And it was, it was kind of hard to keep clean, I guess, right?
Well, it's hard to keep them like surface rusty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember, you like drum brakes, right? And the whole thing.
Mhm.
It's like, this is so cool. You're like, yeah, I'm ready to sell it.
Yeah.
Had it a week or whatever it was.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that is the problem, I guess, with the modern world too, with social media and Facebook Marketplace, all the forums you're on, or whatever, all the friends you have,
Yeah.
you're just like trading, like, I
Yeah.
have this. Oh, it's just. But then you get to enjoy everything.
Yeah. No. And the thing is I'm very much one of those people that's like, okay, I've had that, I've done that, like, cool, on to the next thing. Which for so long financially, like I'd either only be able to afford one car or not even a car at all.
Yeah.
As far as like an extra like toy.
Mhm.
And so now I've been fortunate enough that we kind of have the staying power to like be able to own more than one.
Yeah.
And so it's been fun to like keep them a little longer and like maybe kind of get not as excited for like a couple months. You just don't drive it for a couple months, and then you kind of reignite that excitement and go jump back in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is the you always, I mean, being a lover of cars, I have my dream car list on my, my phone. It's like you always have like your collection. Like, what would you have in your dream collection or your top 5 cars or whatever it is?
Yeah.
But you're right. Like, and as a friend of mine he has a list of cars that he just wants to own.
Yeah.
Then they're not all at the same time, but he's got these like, I want this driving experience. I want,
Yeah.
which is a cool way to look at it. But I guess there's probably times where, there's times where the value of that car, I've had multiple friends who have sold a car and then 3 years later, that car's double
Yeah.
the price.
Guns
And they're
are
like,
like 911s now.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah. A friend sold a GT3 Touring for 140 grand probably 3 years ago, and now they're 250, 300 grand.
Yeah. You're like, oh.
Yeah, and he was like, but I mean, if you're continuing,
Yeah.
progression, it's different. If you sell it and you never want to buy another car, it's different, right? But
Yeah.
I mean, we'd all love to have 100 cars and all that warehouse space and someone to maintain them and not worry about it.
Exactly.
There's, you got to drive them too. So the truck was the first one.
Yeah. And then I had I bet I've had 250 cars. So like,
Do you have photos of all of them?
no, and that's the one thing I'm
Oh,
like so bad about with
yeah.
taking pictures. I mean, on social media there's some, but yeah, I've had so many cars like over the years, and so yeah, I think I had like 10 cars in high school.
Mm.
So like we just kind of went through them. But it's a lot of fun. Enjoy it, It's my dad always says it's worse than dope. Like, it's so expensive and it's so addictive, and it's just like,
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
It is. You're right. What cars did you have when the kids started showing up? Do you
I
have great
built
memories with the kids, like having cars like you had?
like with my kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we built like pretty soon after my second daughter was born. I built a like gnarly station wagon.
Mm.
So like big block, like 600 horse, 61 Impala station wagon.
Was that the Roadster shop one?
No.
that
This was
was-
pre Roadster shop money. Yeah.
Okay.
So, but no, it was a wild car. When I put like 15,000 miles on it, we drove it a bunch. It's one of the ones I kept the longest, actually.
Yeah.
But super cool car. So that was one of them. And then like, I've got pictures of the girls. I had a 34 Ford Roadster and I had the rumble seat. So like I have them like sitting in the rumble seat, some pictures of that. So, yeah, I mean, there's definitely some memories there. It's kind of hard for them not to be. I mean, there's 4 cars in the garage right now that are old. So it's like
signs
on
everywhere.
lifts.
And
Yeah.
all the things.
So it's like they're get it. They're inundated with it too. They don't love it like I love it, but they're like, they know that like if it's nice, we're taking an old car. So like they prep for that.
What is it then? I mean, you have predominantly most of your stuff is older.
Mhm.
Why, like, and meaning, and I want people. You've got some like really old stuff.
30s. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, why? What draws you to that?
Man, I love that culture.
Okay.
I think it's so cool. I just love the history and nostalgia of it. Like knowing, so I just sold one actually. And then I've got 2 others right now. One's finished and one's being built. And there's not parts on them that are newer than like the 50s. So we built these 30s cars like they would have been built in the 50s. And that's fun to me. I like collecting, trying to find parts, like trying to find vintage speed equipment, and trying to find the right set of wheels and tires. And, like I spent months trying to find, sounds so silly, but like 41 Mercury factory wheels that were factory paint because they were black and they had these 3 red pinstripes on them.
Yeah.
And you can fake them, but you can tell when they're faked.
Yeah.
And so we like literally searched and searched and searched. And I found a guy that had a set in his attic that were all matching serial numbers. But it's stuff like that. And the thing is funny is like no one else knows. Like you go to a gas station or go to a valet or whatever, like no one has a clue, but like I know. You know what I mean? Like I know what it took to do that. And anybody can go buy a new Porsche or a new Ferrari or a new Lamborghini. Great. And I have no problem with the people that want to do that. Like there's a part of me that would love to do that as well. But there's something about like collecting bits and pieces and like making the phone calls and like searching the internet and finding one, but then you got to have 3. So you got to find 2 more. Like it's a challenge.
That also makes sense why you don't keep them very often, because you get more joy out of the build and the find and the
Right.
versus when it's done, you're like, now do I do with it? Oh, I
Yeah.
drive it.
Yeah.
Like that makes sense.
Yeah, well, I love driving them. So that's my big thing too. Like growing up, and I think we talked about this last time, but my dad never drove any of his stuff because it was always so nice. I mean, he's had multiple like magazine cover cars, like, but they were all like painted and polished underneath.
Oh, miles.
Yeah, and I'm just like, it's not my bag. Like, I want to drive stuff. So like, I've built a few cars in the last several years that are shiny paint. Not my cup of tea. Like all my stuff right now is all like ratty paint. You know, I've got one 59 Impala that's my dad's and mine. That's shiny paint. But other than that, everything is kind of patina, you know, whatever. And so I think that that's the thing too. And to your point, I don't have a lot of time anymore because I stay so busy with work to build stuff, but we've got a couple of shops that are building cars for us. And that's fun too, because like in the evenings when I've got some downtime, I can search and look. And like I've been looking for a fender for this 33 Woody for no exaggeration, like 2 months. And I found some, but they weren't quite good enough. And like, this is a super low mileage car. So I'm trying to find an original paint and that's really hard. So like, it gives me something to do at night.
Yeah.
But without like full blown, like blowing a car apart and having it apart in the shops.
But it's fun though, isn't it?
Yeah,
Joy that you get out of like, oh my gosh, I found it. And then you're calling the guy, is it there? You know?
Yeah.
It's you're treasure hunting for building what you're, you know, for building your projects and your cars.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so even like 30s cars, you can build a 30s car out of a catalog. No problem. That's just not what I want to do. So
yeah. So what do we have in the garage right now? Total.
36 Ford Roadster. It's like a custom, so it's real low in the back, fender skirts, heavy chop. It's built like it would have been.
The chop would have been is the roof line.
Yeah, so the roof is chopped a bunch. It's chopped, I think, like 4 or 5 inches. So, but that car is built. A guy named Brandon Flanner he's actually in Pittsburgh, California. He built that car, and man, he eats, sleeps, and breathes like 50 style hot rods. That's his bag. And so he built this car for me, and it was painted in it's a 36 Ford. The guy that I bought it from is 85 years old. He'd known the car since he was 10. So he had 75 years of history with this car. It came out of Spokane, Washington. It spent almost its whole life in Spokane. It was painted in 51. They have receipts. I have receipts where it was painted in 1951.
So good.
And so we built it into a custom that looks like it would have been built in 1951. So it even has like a 52 plate on it instead of a 36 plate like it would have been built then, but padded top, like, you know, shaved, all the things. I won't even get into it because it'll be fall deaf on so many people, but like shaved dash, bunch of gauges, chrome dash. We did what you call a sweetheart shifter.
Okay.
So, you know, like a 3-speed is here and you go like 1, 2, 3. Well, you can't have your arm around your girl.
Yeah.
So you flip it to this side so you can shift with your left hand, but then everything is backwards.
Okay. Yeah.
And we like chromed all of that, but we did it. We sent all the chrome to Tijuana, to Mexico.
Oh, really?
And had it done like crappy chrome. So it's not like super perfect like it would have been in the 50s. So there's all these little things that like go into these cars to make it look like it was built in that time period.
What is it then about the culture that you mentioned the culture earlier? What is it about that sort of that time, that era, that culture that kind of pulls you in as well?
I think a lot of it probably has to do with like my uncle and my dad because they were in that time period. My uncle was big into customs. My dad was more into hot rods. The other thing is the guys that are building those cars today, they have a true passion for it. Yeah. They're not like a guy that has money that goes and buys a car. Like they are engrossed in it. And so like every other hobby, you have some guys that have a lot of money, that have huge car collections that, you know, whatever, but they're passionate about every car. They can tell you everything about it, you know? And so they're truly passionate, like across the board.
Yeah. What are you into the music and the fashion of that era as well?
No.
Because that's the whole thing too, right? That's a whole like
and that's kind of a different subculture. I mean, the guys that are building the cars that are like really in tune with the cars and the history, some of them, like I've got some guys in Fort Worth that built my 34 Roadster, and those guys like have the little cowboy hats and like the higher jeans and like they're real tight and like the, you know, the boots, and they wear old belts and have, you know, they're in it, and they do a great job. But it's kind of a mix. Like Brandon that built the other car just wears like Vans and Dickies and
just the modern version.
Yeah.
It's like the evolution of a skater, right? Of a skateboarder. Now we're just building cars.
Yeah.
Doesn't this do you know Hicks design?
So he's made my wife a bunch of purses.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's unfortunate for you because they're not cheap.
Yeah, no, he's so
He's awesome. But I met him once at a coffee shop. I was mid podcast with a friend of mine who owns a coffee shop down on the south side. Chad. Great. And is it Brandon Hicks?
Kyle.
Kyle Hicks. That's
Yeah.
right. Kyle was sat in the background. And
Big fella. If he was standing back there, you knew he was back there. Yeah.
We're talking about, and I said, you've got some great people here, and the coffee shop had just opened. I said, who did all your stuff? And he mentions Kyle. And Kyle sat, and I didn't know he was behind. I was like, yeah, I need to reach out to him. I need to have him on the podcast. He's like, oh, I'm right here. I was like, perfect. But outside was the car that he'd just been gifted, I guess. Or
Yeah,
somebody paid
that
for
32 Roadster.
Yeah, and I was like,
one, yeah.
wow, what is that? I think he still has it, right?
He does, yeah.
Yeah, and he was driving it. I was like, whoa, this thing was like burgundy and all sick. He's like, yeah, I had a client basically pay me
With the car.
With the car.
Yeah.
Like, well, that's cool.
Man, that dude is super talented. Not just in the leather world, like he does like whole store displays and all kinds of crazy.
That's what he did at the coffee shop. I've seen some of his his graphic design stuff because do you know Hunter Owen? Who's the laser guy? So he does lasers for like he did the OU Alabama laser stuff. Big into lasers. He Kyle designed all of his posters for his off-road events and all the things.
Yeah,
just an artist. So cool. But I remember his old burgundy car that he had outside. It's just badass.
Yeah. No, Kyle's super. I think what you were saying about Kyle's purses being so expensive falls perfectly in line with what I'm talking about with this. Like I can have, and nobody is going to believe this, but I can have Ferrari money in one of those early cars.
Yeah.
And it's great, but no one knows it. And you can carry one of Kyle's purses.
Yeah.
Not myself, my wife. And it can be a $6,000 or $7,000 purse and no one knows it.
Yeah.
It's like the difference between a Louis Vuitton or, and having something like that that's truly handmade that he like made for her specific to what she wanted, every color, every stitch, so it's like, it's not about people looking at it and being like,
there's joy in the, if you know, though.
Yeah.
Right. Like there's, cause you don't, like I said, you could have a Ferrari or you could have a Louis Vuitton, whatever it is, but it's, generally most people who buy that stuff, the majority buy it for the image versus the actual bag itself, or the car itself, right? Like if we, I've driven some Ferraris, I'm sure you have too, or some exotics. Yeah, they're great, but some of them don't drive as well as you think they drive.
Right.
Know? And the bags aren't made as quality as you think they are, but Hicks Design, shout out Hicks Design, go to the Instagram because it's just
it's HIX. That dude is super talented.
Still have his place in the Plaza District.
He does. And he opened like a showroom kind of now.
Yeah.
So he's got a little showroom with a few bags and like t-shirts and stuff like that. But
great leather work.
Yes.
Let's go back to the house thing then, because I know we could talk cars forever.
Yeah.
So you're in your 30s, you take the job to go to be a superintendent. How long are you a superintendent? And do you, when you're in there for 3, 4, 5, 6 months, do you think I made the right decision? Do you go through some doubts? Like where are we in, you have a young family and you take a pay cut, like all this thing going on. How was that?
I knew immediately that I had made the right decision.
Awesome.
Like immediately. I came home and like had that feeling of like, I know that for a fact I'm going to be home for the next however many months. And I hadn't felt that in so many years. I was just like, this is it. I don't care what, what the pay cut is. So that was instant. The passion for building houses took a little while. So man, when I started, I drank from a fire hose. I literally started, I rode around with a guy for a week that was retiring. And after 1 week, they were like, here's 30 houses. So, I mean,
You're then managing all of them.
Yeah, no, literally managing 30 houses. Yeah. And so it was like a very much like either you make it or you don't. There was no in between. Yeah. And so I learned a lot really fast. I worked for that company for about 8 or 9 months. And then I got an opportunity to go work for another builder building big houses. It was about twice the size. I'm sorry, the houses were about twice the size. The pay was over double. So that was kind of the draw, obviously, to go do that. I had much fewer houses, obviously, because they were so much bigger. And I did that for about a year. And there was just some practices that I wasn't real happy with that the company was, was doing. And so I left and had no intention to start my own company. I was going to go to work for another company. I was actually looking for a superintendent job. I actually, Kyle,
Yeah.
the tactical that does
Yeah.
the tactical stuff.
Yeah. Coleman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he had just started his company
Yeah.
when he had a home building company. And I actually talked to him about working for him for, about 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And one of my buddies called me and was like, hey, I've got these buildings that I knew he had. And he's like, I'm going to slowly start to remodel them as people move out and want to move back in and move in. He's like, would you be interested in doing some of that work? And so I literally did every bit of that work I could do myself. Like I did all the demo. I like hung the drywall. I mean, we did everything. Me and Harley, a guy that works with me now, we did like everything we could to try to save money. And that's when I, sold my truck, sold my house, sold everything. And I was just like, I'm not getting any younger. At that time, I was like, I think 34. And I was like, I'm not getting any younger. If there's a time to try this, now's the time. I had like a really young daughter, young. And, another daughter that was like 5. And
enough that they're not going to know the difference.
Yeah. So I'm like, let's go.
The system for them. Yeah.
And so we did that. And I literally did anything I could do to make money. Like, I think we talked about this last time, but built a couple of chassis for buddies for their trucks. Like I built fences, like we did whatever and just ground it out. And, I had a buddy that called and was like, hey, I've got a little extra cash. Let's build a little spec house. So we built like a little spec and made no money. I think we made like $6,000.
Yeah.
And I gave like 80% of it to him because I was like, I felt bad for like wasting his money, but I sold a couple of customs off of it. So I built those 2 and then like it snowballed into this. Yeah.
So from that spec and then the couple of custom, those clients come from just seeing you building houses and like, oh,
no advertising.
We have a relationship with you through whatever it is. And is Dad still around or not?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Dad is.
So it's funny.
Cool.
My dad did not want me to do it.
Really?
Oh, he thought I was nuts. He's like, you are going to leave this like super like lucrative job in the oil field to go do this? Like, what are you doing?
Is that because of just the way he was raised, the mentality of that era of you get a job, you stay in it for 30 or 40 years, you retire,
absolutely.
Sure.
Yeah. And I think anytime I ever worked for anybody else, I treated it like it was mine. I took like this kind of like quasi ownership role. And so I figured out that like I needed to own my own business because I wasn't good at working for other people, because when they'd ask you to do things that I thought were like, didn't work or were like a time waste or whatever, I always felt very passionately about it. And so I think, he worked at, and there's nothing wrong with it. Like there's just different mentalities for different people, but he worked at OG&E his whole career. So for 35 years, and that was his security. And so for me to be like, I'm going to go leave this super secure
with
job.
A family.
With a family, and I'm making really good money, like to go do this. He was just like, you're crazy.
That's reckless.
But it's funny now because he's like, oh my gosh, man, like you did it. So he's super proud of me. And, I definitely appreciate that. But yeah, he was not, there were very, very few people that were like, I think this is a great idea. My wife was one of the very few that was like, we really need to do this.
What year was this? Like late 2000s, early?
Yeah. So I started my own business. March will be 9 years ago.
Okay. Yeah. So post crash, but still like there was an oil 15, 16, there was a little oil hit, right?
Yeah.
So around that time.
Yeah. So we
just
like
after that.
Yep.
Okay.
Right after that. So yeah, it's been wild. Like it's been wild to go from kind of where we started to where we are and be able to have the opportunity to build some of the houses we built. It's been really fun.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Where were those first few customs that you got off your spec?
Way northeast Edmond.
Okay.
Yeah. In a neighborhood called Indian Ridge. I still build in there.
Isn't that northeast now?
Not anymore.
Right?
Yeah. It was then. But no, it was, so I got my start from a car guy that I called every developer that I could find their phone number to try to get them to let me build a first house in their neighborhood. And they just all said no, because they hadn't seen any of my product. And he was a car guy and he was like, man, I'll give you a shot. I'll sell you a lot. And I've built probably 35 houses in that neighborhood now. So, it was where we started and we're still going up there.
Yeah. And so they were, I mean, what were the customs, how big were the first few customs?
Oh, like 2,000 feet.
Okay.
Yeah. Like 1,800 to 2,200 feet were the first probably 6 or 7, and then like everything else, then somebody wants you to build a 25, and then a
3 to
3.
500 price range, 300 to 500.
Back then, the very first house I sold in that neighborhood was $145 a foot, so it would have been about 280. Yeah. Now that same neighborhood's 250 a foot, so it's gone up over $100 a foot, which is it's great for the people that were in there early because they got a ton of equity.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's been, you know, it went 2,500, then somebody wanted a 3,000, then a 3,500, then a 4,500, then a 5,000, then a 5,500, then a 6,000. So it just like keeps growing.
I'm going to ask you a dumb question here because you know the industry that I'm in, but I'm asking it for the sake of a podcast.
Yeah.
Is there much difference between, you know, you're building a 25 as far as like, yes, the size is massive, is double, you know, versus 2,500 to 5,000 square foot home. But like from a builder's perspective, from your perspective, is there any different as far as just what you're doing? You're just doing it on a step versus on a scale side. So outside of just the scale of it, is there any big difference for you as a builder?
Yes. So there's so much more detail.
Okay.
This room is a prime example. So like in this room, it's paneled all the way around. It's got sheeting on the walls behind all the paneling, so that way it's all smooth, as you can tell. You know, we've got a historic piece of furniture that I sourced to put in here. You know, down to like sanded and finished hardwood floors versus like a laminate type floor or like a pre-finished floor. I mean, you guys can't see it, but behind you, there's a like door that's hidden in the paneling that goes to a bathroom. I mean, there's all these things that are like small details that go into these that don't go into the smaller houses.
Because the small houses don't have to worry about looking so much like a painted wall box.
Yeah.
People who want bigger houses want more culture, character, style in the new one, in the bigger one.
Yeah, I think the thing is like, most people don't want, and I'd love to build one, don't get me wrong, but most people don't want a 2,500 square foot house that's $500 a foot.
Fair.
If they're going to go up to that level, they're going to want, you know, a 4,000 to 6,000 foot house to kind of get everything they want. So it's more just when you get up into that size range. Now, keep in mind too, I've been into a lot of really big builds that is just a 2,500 square foot build that's twice as big. There's not the detail. There's not all the things. There's not, you know, so I think it's just different versus what we do. So a lot of this stuff in our builds stays consistent throughout. One thing that people always find interesting is like, we use the same subs. So whether I'm building a 2,000 foot house or a 7,000 foot house, same framer, same drywall guy, it's all the same people. And it's because I weeded out my subcontractors for so long because I am so picky that they're fully capable of doing either realm. And things like amenities, right? So we do like foam insulation in every house we build. Doesn't matter how big it is. We do 4,000 PSI concrete, no matter what. We do rebar in all of our slabs and stent and all of that, no matter what. So there's a lot of things that cross over, but there's just so much more intricacy in the big houses.
Do you think that detail comes from your dad's love of building?
1,000%.
Right.
1,000%. My dad is so picky.
Yeah, and also you don't like, you know, building a house versus building a car. Like you want it to be nice and shiny here. Right?
Yeah.
Like yes, it's going to be used and walked around and worn or whatever it is. But it makes like you said earlier, it makes so much sense that you're a home builder, right? Versus, you know, growing up building cars to now, natural progression.
Yeah. No, so in the beginning, I used to have my dad blue tape all my houses. So to like get going, I would be like, nobody is more picky than him. So I would like give him a roll of blue tape and he would spend hours in my houses like, this is wrong. You didn't do this right, whatever. And I truly think that like, that's what I'm picky. Like I'm very picky. My dad is on a whole nother level. So I do think that that's what helped us grow really fast because we were building these houses, you know, that were competing with like the Tabors, which nothing wrong with that. So they're mass producing houses and we were building like 3 at a time where he was building like 300 at a time. So we had these little tiny minute details and we could walk through a house and, you know, back then we had no employees. It was like just me all the way up until 2 years ago. It was just me.
Yeah.
And so like when somebody comes to buy a house and they have 4 or 5 to look at, and they come to one of mine and they see the detail and I can walk them through and say, hey, you know, all of our cabinetry is solid wood. We don't use any particle board. Like all of our trim materials are all solid wood. We don't use any pine, MDF, you know, whatever. I mean, people see that. And then I'd walk them through a house next door that was like mid, you know, trim and be like, here's what I'm talking about, you know? So I think, yeah, that attention to detail definitely came from him and it's a blessing and a curse. my subs get really frustrated with me sometimes. But my clients love it.
Yeah.
So
Well, and back to what you were saying earlier, the car guy who gave you your first kind of lot, when you, and what you said is they, the others wouldn't give you because you didn't have anything for you to show them, right? You hadn't built anything.
right.
The great way to build a reputation very early on is to do incredible work and not leave any stone unturned, and have your
Yep.
dad come through in the detail, because it's easy to show that you care that way to your clients, right? And then
Mhm.
as you could probably attest to, word of mouth and referrals is the greatest marketing and advertising
Yeah,
know,
absolutely.
versus
Absolutely.
some paying $10,000 a month to go put all this stuff on social media and then YouTube and Facebook and all the things. And like, if your clientele are buying $500 a square foot houses and they tell their friends, they're gonna trust them.
Yeah, well, no, exactly. Like I met with a client last week that I didn't even build their friend's house. I just built the house next door to their friend's house, and they watched the process, and they had a pretty bad experience with their builder. And the people that I met with were like, either we're going to buy this house that I'm building, or we're going to have you build us one, but we're not even going to shop anybody else because of how many praises our friends have, saying of yours. And I didn't even build their house. So, but they saw me over there every day. They saw me with a broom in my hand. They saw me, you know what I mean? And most people that are building, 5,500 square foot house, like I did for their neighbor, like they're not out there with a broom.
They're not there.
Yeah, they're not there. So it's like, I think that's it too. Yeah. I think there was a lot of things that led to our success. One of the big ones was COVID.
Really?
Absolutely. Whenever COVID hit, and houses were selling,
Yeah, it was
houses.
insane.
Yeah, it was insanity. Guys were just building houses as fast as they possibly could.
Yeah.
What came out of that is a lot of people started putting a lot less amenities in their house because they knew they would sell. So like, if I can build a house and make it $20,000 cheaper and I know it'll sell regardless, let's save that money. Well, I didn't do that. So what ended up happening is whenever COVID kind of came to a halt, and I know you remember, it was like everything was going gangbusters, and in about a 1 month period of time, everything stopped.
Everything stopped.
And so
Everything stopped. Yeah.
we had 3 or 4 specs out there, but they were built to that same level of pre-COVID, and they sold.
Yeah.
And the other guys that I was building with in those neighborhoods were like, dude, how come your houses are selling? And we've got these houses that are sitting for months and months and months. And I'm like, man, I never compromised. Like, we kept the level the same the whole time. In fact, as we started getting more money per square foot for houses during COVID, like everyone did, we actually started putting more amenities in them to like kind of keep up with that level of price. So I think like there was a lot of stuff like that just kind of went back to like a character thing, where it was like, my dad always taught me like, build something like you wanted to live in it. And I build every single house like I want to live in it.
Yeah.
So that's just, To
that point, how long did it take you to build your own?
So we waited. I did not want to jump into, man, I won't say I'm risk adverse, but I'm not one that's like, let's just go crazy. I'm kind of a little bit more reserved. So we bought a couple of other like less expensive houses and remodeled them. And then when we got, to be completely honest with you, like when we got into this, like building 5,000 foot plus houses, clients want to see one done. You know what I mean? They're not just going to go, yeah, we trust that you're going to do this, which I completely understand. And so I didn't want to put my clients out any longer. We did the whole like, hey, next Wednesday at 2, can I bring these people by your house? But I felt bad because obviously people want to like have their house clean and beds made and stuff. And then I started trying to like coordinate around their schedule when would work best for them. And it finally just kind of got to a point where I told my wife, I'm like, we need to build this caliber of house that we're selling so that people can see it and we can use it as basically a show home. And it's worked. I mean, we put it in the parade, which was, we'll never do that. Your personal house in the parade of homes with all your personal furniture and artwork in it and everything else is a bad idea. I mean, we had cars on the lift in the garage, like the whole night. Like we just opened it up and like the only thing that wasn't in here was our clothes. Yeah. And so, yeah, never again. Like it was, I'll do a parade again with my personal house, but not with my furniture and stuff. Like kids jumping on my couches and like we had a kid actually in my bed. Like I walked in and there was a kid like under the covers of my bed. So the house was fresh. We hadn't moved in yet. But we had everything staged with our stuff. So like the whole house had all, like we took some personal family items down, but like it was, if you walk around the house right now, this is what it looked like. And so it worked really well from that perspective. Like we built this house, it's different. It's got a lot of colors. It's real funky. And so I wanted to do that to kind of show people like it doesn't have to be a white box. Like it doesn't have to be white brick with, you know, black trim, and it can be different.
Yeah.
So we built this one kind of as like a modern Tudor. It's a red brick, like, did like, there's some cool features like glass walkway from the second floor.
I saw the video, the Instagram video.
Yeah.
On it,
Yeah. So some different stuff like that, just to kind of get people to hopefully think outside the box a little bit.
Yeah. Well, and it gives you, like, when you build it, like you said, with that in mind, right? You can be a little bit more free with the design and you don't have to worry about things matching, because people walking in this room and maybe they want nothing out there piques their interest, but they walk in this room like, I want this room in my house. Exactly the way it is, right? Or the kitchen or whatever, it's like going into IKEA store, there's a bunch of different, whatever the other department stores are, that you can see a room somewhere, right? Like you go to RH down, at Oak, and you can see, okay, I want this entire room in my house.
Yeah.
Because people don't visualize
exactly right.
things. And it is so important to have a show home in our profession, because people don't visualize, you could show them on a screen in AI or whatever, but they don't feel it.
Yeah.
They don't have the design. If they're not a designer, they don't have the eye for it.
Yeah.
For the most part.
The one thing that, backing up to your point, yes, I've had 2 different clients tell me they want this exact same room in their house. The thing that we do more than anything that I never thought about is getting a feel for room sizes.
Yeah.
Because clients all the time are like, man, I want to build an office, but I'm not sure if it'll work. And I'm like, let's run to my house and we can go to my office, or we can go to this, like this, we call this room the lounge. Like you can come into the lounge and like, if you like this size, this could be your office. Or like, well, I'm not sure that my primary bedroom's big enough. Okay, let's run by my house. And like and we can do it on a whim.
Yeah.
So we've kind of signed up for this. Like, we're going to keep our house clean. We're going to keep our beds made so that we can literally drop by here anytime. And that's what we do. And it's worked really well for that. Like living room size. Hey, it's 1 foot shorter this way, but it's 2 feet wider this way. And it's like, oh, I love the way this works.
Well, and also you get the opportunity to explain why it is this way too, right? And when they get to see that, like, oh, even though it's 1 foot doesn't seem like a lot, but in a room with an extra 1 foot of space, whether it's the couch or way to walk by, or your thing over there, whatever it is, it makes a whole lot of sense when you see it, and then you get the opportunity to explain, which then makes you look, you clearly know what you're doing, but it gives you another opportunity to show that to your client as well.
Yeah.
In a way that's comfortable and normal, because it's your own house.
Yeah. And, we generally have several houses that are kind of like at different stages of building. So we'll have one at frame, one at trim, one at paint, one at whatever.
Yeah.
But it's different when you don't have furniture in them and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, having this has been monumental. And we kind of have the financial plan to like move every couple of years for the next 10 years to kind of build equity and stuff. So I've already bought the lot for our next house, even though we just finished this one like 2 months ago, and we're already kind of working towards plan sets for the next one. So
when did the business make the jump from the 25 to 3,500 houses to now this size?
I had a friend of mine, a good friend, that was like, hey, I really want you to build my house. And I knew it was going to be a bigger house. That up until then, now keep in mind, like I had built some big houses for the builder that I worked for before. So it wasn't new, but I had never done any with my own business. And we started working on plan sets, and it ended up being like 5,200 feet. And the previous to that, the biggest I'd built was like 3,200 feet. So I was like, okay. And so we did it, and it turned out marvelous. Well, with that, somebody else saw one, decided they wanted one. And then the biggest leap was, we built, and everybody thought I was nuts. We built a 5,200 square foot spec, about 18 months ago, when it was like, not bad, but not busy.
Great. Yeah.
And everybody was like, you're insane. And it sold in 4 days. So, it sold in 4 days.
Yeah.
We're building 3 over 5,000 square foot specs right now.
Get those spec designs from?
2 people that I use.
Okay.
So the majority of my
scrolling Instagram looking for designs.
Yeah, no.
Buying floor plans off some AI tool.
Yeah, well, you'd be surprised how many clients are like, I brought my floor plan. I'm like, oh no.
Oh boy.
But no, I use a guy named Ford Duncan,
Okay.
and he's done my plan sets for a long time, does great work. He can do anything,
Yeah.
small to big, whatever. And then recently I've done a couple with Weston Dennis.
Okay.
He is an architect. His wife is an architect. They do some really unique designs. In fact, he has designed my 2 parade houses spec houses that will also be in the parade, one spring, one fall this year. So he definitely comes up with some unique ideas. We'll sit down and have a few beers and be like, what if we did this? What if we did that? So we come up with some cool stuff. But Ford also does a fantastic job.
As far as kind of trends and Oklahoma generally versus the coasts and all the, thanks to social media, we do get to see some incredible homes. There's a pretty modern one going up on the corner, sure. And, you see the giant cabins in Broken Bow that are kind of pushing the boat out and going all steel and glass, what they want to do. And some of them look really cool. Right now, what are the trends? What are you seeing? What's changed since you've been doing everything? What has stayed the same? Kind of state of the union right now.
The biggest thing that I think people are leaning a lot towards really heavily, which my next house will have this, is separated kitchens.
Oh.
We're getting back away from the shotgun style.
Yeah.
People want to have quiet conversations in their kitchen without having to listen to the TV or listen to whatever conversation's going on in the living room. So we're transitioning into that a lot. Working with different exterior textures. For so long, Oklahoma was just brick and a little bit of rock. So we're starting to see a lot more man-made material as far as composite, like a wood composite. So that you get that feel and that texture. And it looks just like wood from 5 feet away, but it's no maintenance, no stain. So we're doing a lot of that. Like we mentioned before, color washing of rooms is really big. I am liking, and if you walk through my house, you'll see it. A lot of the antique, kind of bring in pieces like that big spec that we sold last year. It had a set of 1800s church doors that went into the office, big, tall, cathedral arch church doors. So we're trying to do a lot of that, bring in some historic stuff when we can.
Where are you sourcing that from?
Anywhere and everywhere. A lot of stuff comes from dead people stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's such a cool store to walk through.
Yeah. So we've gotten quite a bit of stuff from them, but
and that just to kind of add character and bring some
just to be something different.
Yeah,
man, there's one thing that I hate, and that's cookie cutter houses. I do not want you to walk through any one of my houses and go, man, that's just like the one he built last year. No, they all need to be different and have a lot of unique features. And I think one way to do that, because so much of this stuff comes from the same suppliers and whatever, is to use some of those vintage pieces, because that is what really sets it apart.
Yeah.
But those trends are really picking up. Smaller primary bedrooms. A lot of people are realizing that they're not going to hang out in their bedroom.
Yeah.
So we're maybe doing a bigger closet with a smaller bed. So there's a bunch of that stuff.
Less TV and entertainment in the bedroom. There's little things like rain heads, right? Everybody wanted a rain head forever. Those are gone. Nobody does rain heads anymore. So there's some stuff like that's kind of worked its way out. Tray ceilings. Nobody's doing tray ceilings anymore. That was a huge. Do you do anything signature specific to every house that you have? Is there one thing that you do consistently with everyone that's no?
There's a couple of builders, I won't name names, but I can. There's a couple of the builders, and I won't name names. One of them's in Nichols Hills, you can drive by his houses,
exactly
and I'm that's his, and I don't want
a little circle window.
I don't want that. I want people to scratch their head and go, that's a really cool house. And me being one of the 5 builders in that neighborhood, be like, I wonder if he built that one.
Yeah.
So that's a lot more fun to me. I think the thing that we keep consistent is the quality. We just don't take on a ton of houses to kind of keep the quality up.
So bringing things to current day, you said, you don't do that. You only do a few projects at a time. You obviously you bought the land that your current next house is going to be on. You've only been here a couple of months.
Yeah.
I like the planning. I like the foreshadowing to build equity, and and there's builders out there that kind of build. They live in their home, and it's always for sale.
Right.
Their clients I want yours. Okay.
Not quite there. My wife would kill me. On that. But we do have a plan to sell in the next couple of years.
Yeah. What's kind of the future of what you're working on right now look like, and where I mean, if people are listening and watching, and your Instagram is at Lone Oak Homes.
Yeah, Lone Oak Homes.
I'll link that below. You can go and see some of JD's work. And if you're in the market for it, you can see that, or let us know and you can come by the house.
Yeah.
You are building projects. Are those projects spoken for right now? They have builds, or you said a couple of specs?
Yeah. So we're like winding down on a couple of big customs,
Sure.
and about to start a couple of big customs. And then I've got 3 specs that are, like we mentioned before, that are starting, that are not spoken for yet. They're all over 5,000 foot. They're all in East Edmond. 2 are on 5-acre lots. 1's on a 1-acre lot. Super unique designs, like really, really cool stuff. But yeah, I mean, those 3 houses are available. We'll have one in the spring parade in April, and then we'll have one in the fall parade in September. And then the other one will kind of get finished somewhere in the interim. So we'll have some houses available this year. But yeah, and one thing I was going to say on my social media, I do a lot of videos. I'm not like as much, which you'll see some of it, but like, look how pretty this is. I get a lot more in depth in the building science portion. Yeah. So I post a lot of videos of like, here's how we insulate this, and here's why. Here's how, here's why we do the concrete this way. Here's how our houses are a little different than other ones you may see. So there's a lot of that. And it's funny because I started doing that more, to be honest with you, to catalog it so that when clients bought houses, I could be like, hey, if you want to go back to this date and look at these 3 videos, and it'll tell you about like what concrete we use in your house or whatever. And I had when we sold that first big spec, the client was like, I watched every single one of your videos on this house, and I know from like when you started tearing trees down to like final paint touch-ups, like I've watched this whole process, and they're like, I love it. So that really told me like people are watching it and they do care. And then I've had several people that are like, man, keep posting videos. Like I love seeing like how it's built, kind of. So I hate doing it. My wife has to remind me. She's like, we haven't posted anything in a few days. Like you need to make a video. So she kind of keeps me ahead of that. But yeah, it is helpful. I think I get lost in it because I do it every day, so I don't think about it.
Yeah.
But
it's normal to you, but to everybody else who sat in their office, they want to, they take their lunch. They're like, oh, this is really cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Story side of it too, and you just walking and talking your way through it. It's not mega produced, right? It's not. It's you're just like, hey guys, this is my day. This is what I'm doing. This is why. There's the education side of it, documentation side of it, which is a great form of content. There's so many pages and people out there that generally just love homes. Like they're not a buyer right now. They might be, and maybe you've had clients who've been like, I've been watching your stuff for 5, 6, 7 years, whatever it is. Maybe they'll come up. But it is cool to do, and then, like I said, to document for the clients that are, it's there. They can go back to it and see it.
Yeah, it's hard for me to make a riveting video about like batted insulation for soundproofing, but I'm doing my best.
Let's finish up with the cars. What are we working on right now? What do we got our eye on? What are you researching? What are you trying to find? Any parts and all the things?
Yeah,
that we haven't mentioned.
Yeah, finding parts right now. Yeah. So I bought from a local guy actually a 1933 Ford Woody.
Okay.
It may be the nicest original 33 Ford Woody in the country.
Jeez,
it is incredible. Yeah, so
cool.
I just shipped it to California to have Brandon at East Bay build it yesterday actually.
Okay. Was it running?
Oh yeah, no. I mean, it's like a running driving car.
Yeah.
So yeah, kind of a crazy like short story. The car was sold brand new in 33 in New Hampshire.
It's not that long. Like it's almost 100 years old.
I know. Yeah. So sold new in New Hampshire to a place called Bon Air Farms, and it even still has on the door in script Bon Air Farms. And so it was sold new to them. They used it to take people from the train station to their farm. It stayed with that family for about 20 years. And then in the 50s, a car collector bought it and put it in his collection, and it stayed in that collection for almost 50 years. Awesome. And then the guy I bought it from the collection. Yeah. So original paint, original wood, original interior, like it is wild. And so we're going to like basically do like a little bit hopped up motor, not like do anything crazy, era specific or era correct kind of motor, different wheel and tire setup, lower it just a little bit. But yeah, I just kind of make
93 years old, right?
Yeah.
Is that right?
And it's wild because when you see it, it looks like it was built 5 years ago.
So good.
And so we're going to make a little kind of hot rod out of it.
Okay.
And searching for a couple of parts for that car that they made Columbia rear ends. Nobody cares, but they only built, the first year they built them was in 1934.
Okay.
And they built very, very, very few, probably about 100. And so I'm trying to find a Columbia rear end, which is like a rear end that basically has like gears in it. So you can switch gears. So you can.
They only built 100 in 1934, and that's what you're looking for?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
so it's, yeah, needless to say, it's been pretty difficult. And you can, I can retrofit one and like make it work.
Yeah, but it's not that fun.
But I want,
You want an original.
And then I'm still looking for a fender for that car, like I talked about earlier. So it's, that car has a spare tire in the fender.
Oh, wow.
And we're kind of building like a little bit of a hot roddy version.
Yeah.
And so I don't want the spare tire in the fender, but I don't want to cut the fender. We could easily fill the fender, but I want to keep the fender in case anybody would ever want to put it back to stock.
Yeah.
So we're trying to find one without a.
Have you thought about having, I mean, you have a beautiful modern truck that you drive, I assume, every day. Do you have the itch to go drive something modern-ish, like in the last 10 years?
Like supercars?
Yeah.
Oh, I would absolutely love, and I mean, this isn't real modern, but I would love to have an 06, I think 0506 Ford GT. That's like my bucket list. I mean, if they weren't $550,000.
If they're going to be $1 million one day, so you may as well buy one now.
Yeah, but
that's the problem.
that is definitely a bucket list car. Here's the honest truth about it.
Yeah.
I've had a couple of newer high-end cars. I don't drive them. Here's the thing with me. I'm working all the time. So like Saturday morning, go get donuts for the girls, come back and like run and check on a house. Be great to drive a new GT3 to go do that until you show up at the house and then the client's there and then they're a little like, why do you have a $350,000 car?
A neighborhood that's having houses built and there's nails everywhere.
Well, yeah, and I mean, it's not even that. I'm just like, there's just I don't know. There's just something about it that's like, seems a little pretentious.
Yeah.
You know, I've gotten recently into building like patina trucks that are all modern drivetrain that I can drive every day.
Yeah.
So I'll show you when you leave, but I've got a 67 Ford F100 that's got a Coyote motor in it and 6-speed and all QA1 suspension, and it's like dialed. I mean,
but people think it costs $5,000 because it doesn't look.
Yeah, it's a black patina 67 Ford truck. Yeah, and then I've got a 66 flatbed truck, like a big like grain truck that we cut down. We put it on a newer chassis with a Cummins in it, and then we're building a 56 that's the same color flatbed, big wheels, like semi wheels. Lowered on a.
You can really lower the
the running boards are like 3 inches off the ground on it. And then we're doing that 56, and it's got a 2010 Duramax on a 2010 Duramax chassis with an Allison. So they're just old like patina trucks, but you can pull trailers. Like we can use them. I mean, they're so that's been fun.
That I get what you're saying with you pulling up with a client. You know, you could pull up in that truck and they'd have no idea. You have hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, I mean, you got
this is pulling up in a McLaren, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, look at this guy in a McLaren. You know, that's what my money's going to.
Exactly.
That makes sense.
Yeah, you pull up in $100,000 Duramax flatbed that they have absolutely no idea. But yeah,
they just think it's a cool truck.
Yeah, exactly. But that's fun, and I kind of decided that like. I love driving old cars and trucks. Like I've always loved it. And I spend 90% of my day in a vehicle driving from job site to job site. Like let's combine the two.
Yeah.
So unless it's like really crappy out, I mean, even if it's raining, whatever, unless it's like snowy or just gnarly out, like 4 days a week, I drive something old.
Yeah. I love it. Awesome. Well, mate, I appreciate your time. It's good to catch up.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Glad we ran into each other at the Thunder game. And people listening, I'll put the Instagram, and you have a website as well?
Instagram? Okay. Yeah,
LoneOakCustomHomes.com. Link that down below. And we'll catch you next episode.
Yeah, thanks.
Hope you guys enjoyed that great episode. Thank you so much for listening. As always, huge shout out to our sponsors, the Oklahoma Hall of Fame, sharing Oklahoma story through its people since 1927. For more information on the Oklahoma Hall of Fame, go to www.oklahomahof.com and follow them on Instagram for daily updates at OklahomaHOF. Our other sponsor, the Chickasaw Nation, amazing sponsor. They do amazing things for the state, and they're always sponsoring something in Oklahoma. They're a huge supporter of Oklahoma, and without their support, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. This episode is brought to you by the Doghouse OKC. Recently, I have been in need of some doggy daycare for my 2 pups, and the Doghouse have come in clutch. The team over there are incredible. They've taken care of my 2 golden doodles, and so it's been an honor to partner with them on the podcast and share the love. And adding to that is the Doghouse. And so if you're in need of doggy daycare in the day or boarding overnight, they do grooming and other cool things too, but I've had a fantastic experience, and it's an honor and a privilege to share this with you too. So go to thedogHouseOKC.com and follow them on Instagram at thedogHouseOKC, and hopefully our pups will run into each other.
Thank you for listening. We are inspired by those around us and hope that you are too. Make sure you subscribe to this podcast on your favorite podcast platform and leave us a review so we can keep telling your stories. For more great Oklahoma content, follow This Is Oklahoma on Facebook and Instagram.